everybody. This is the weekly comic review abbreviated edition. So we're going to roll the intro and then get right into it. Yeah. Roll that intro. Hey guys, so as I was saying, this is the Spoilertastic, though probably not as Spoilertastic as usual, abbreviated weekly comic review. I'm the officially unofficial geek. My name is Carrie Quinn, and we're just doing kind of a little quick review because I really should have done it yesterday, and I didn't, but I'm filming this on my lunch break, y'all. From my 9-to-5 job. I slapped a little lip gloss on. Otherwise, look pretty homely as usual. Yeah, so anyways, guys, if you are new to the channel, these don't usually get done so quickly. However, today they are. But if you like what I do here, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you thought of the content on the channel. Let me know what you thought of these comics, what I thought of them. But without further ado, let's get into this. I struggled with the idea of bringing up this comic. We're going to do like we normally do still with the top 3 comics, and I'll mention them when I get to them. But first off, I struggled with the idea of bringing up this comic because to me personally, some news came out recently about Image, their workers union putting out an actual like filed complaint against them. Image, get your shit together. Don't be union busters. Whatever. So I'm not going to say very much about it, but pretty much if you're getting Worldtree, you're entertained. If you like science fiction thrillers and you're reading James Tynion, you're entertained. It's really great. It's a great story. I'm really enjoying it, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to give them any more. I read this. I bought the issue. I'm going to continue reading it to support the artists. Pretty much if you're reading James Tynion, you know what you're in for. You know what you're getting. You know that you're getting, especially if you're reading. I've had my differences with Tiny Onion in regards to the latter part of his Batman journey. But when it comes to his creator-owned stuff, yeah, sir. Bravo. Next book I'm going to talk to you guys about is the North Valley Grimoire. Now, this is a comic book series based off the novel, the acclaimed novel by Blake Northcott. So she is working also on this story, being put out by Whatnot Publishing, massive Whatnot Publishing, as I mentioned, Blake Northcott, Giuseppe Gaffaro, Brian Valzana, and Sean Gordon Murphy on this cover. Obviously, it's a Sean Gordon Murphy cover just by looking at it. If you're familiar with Sean Gordon Murphy's work, you know this is his freaking cover, okay? So basically what we got here is we have a dude that's working for a fringe section of the CIA. He's got kind of like weird stuff going on involving he can't be killed. But he's working for this unit that regulates magic, but he's gotten a little bit of probably a well-deserved chip on his shoulder involving the whole situation. And he is investigating this one particular situation involving a disappearing grimoire, and it has brought him to North Valley. I think it was North Carolina or Virginia. I forget the state. But this is basically the comic book version of the acclaimed kickstarted novel by Blake Norcott. One of the things that I really loved about this was the pairing, kind of like a wine pairing with food. You have a music pairing given at the end of the comic, prepared by the author, where she's talking about the play. It's a playlist for issue 1, and I really love that, and that's something that I'm considering doing with some of my work and everything like that. So I loved that, and I really did enjoy this. It might have moved a little too quickly for my taste, and that's something I'm going to bring up involving the next book. But a great start to a great adaptation. Thank you. All right, so next book I'm going to talk about is issue 6 of Dahlia in the Dark by Joe Corello, Milana, and Myers. Joe Corello was the editor on a book that I absolutely loved. Cherish was written by Katana Collins. That was under Dynamite. This is produced by Mad Cave. And this is the end issue. This is the last issue of the book. We have Donnie committing himself to helping the fairy Mia, take over her father's kingdom. Her father is a tyrant, and that's what they're doing. It's, I gotta say, the ending there's parts of the ending that moved a little too quick for me. I would have liked a little bit more in-depth description about what was happening and why people were coming to the decision that they were. Some developments that happened just kind of like bam, and then they were over. Like in particular, his former partner making certain decisions, things happening around that weren't necessarily completely clear in the way they were presented. I would have liked just a little teensy bit more expounded on. And other than that, who doesn't love a series that ends with the ultimate sacrifice of its main character? I told you it's Spoilertastic reviews, guys. You knew what you were getting into. You knew what you were getting into. Because then what it is that I like that trope where it's like, this is how I die. And it's the entire book is leading up to how, I'm not saying that that's how it started out, but the idea of telling the story, leading up to that. Yeah, so pretty okay end to the series. I didn't hate it. I didn't want to turn a cartwheel because of it, but here I am. And if you're asking, yes, this is a Gatorade bottle. And yes, this is not Gatorade, it's water. I like to reuse where I can, and that kind of thing. So it's a good bottle and it helps. Okay, so we are already, guys, to the top three books. First one I'm going to talk about is Milestone Media, Worlds Collide, Act 1, Icon versus Hardware, Issue 3. This is Hoodlin, Chills, Cowan, Banks, Flores, Montanez, Floyd, and Sotomayor. Lots of names on this one. What's really interesting is when you could be reading a book and it kind of like you get to a point where it kind of loses you. And then it makes and you're sitting there like, what the heck is going on? And that and then it gets you back. And that's kind of what happens with this particular issue of Icon versus Hardware. Did I say that? Icon versus Hardware? Did I say that? Yeah. Icon versus Hardware. I have this problem where I keep on referring to this particular book, Icon versus Rocket, but it's not Icon versus Rocket. Icon and Rocket are a duo, and it's Icon versus Hardware. Okay. So, in this particular, where we last left our heroes, Hardware had gotten it, and Curtis Metcalf had gotten the idea that he was going to go back in time and he was going to abolish the slave trade as it began. I understand that. I get that. But what ends up happening is when he is able to kick that off in the past, then we jump to an entire different scene where it's basically, I didn't realize it because I didn't know much about Icon's history, but Icon is... I knew Icon was an alien, and I didn't realize that what we were doing was talking about Icon and Icon's origins once again. So that's kind of the part that got me confused, and I didn't understand why we were going there. But then I realized why we were going there. When it paired the two stories, it checked back in with what was happening with Curtis Metcalf. And Curtis Metcalf had built this utopian society. What he believed to be a utopian society. But the problem is he stopped the slave trade. And he stopped certain other things from possibly happening in the future. However, what he realizes and what he was realizing in the process of that, and what Icon talks to him about when Icon meets up with him, is that while he may have stopped certain things from happening, other bad things took the place of those bad things. It's like, no matter what, you still had to deal with the nature of man, and it's good along with its bad. And he's just like, okay, so here's the thing, this is what's going on, and I'm just gonna press a button and it's going to just go Kapowy, right? So he does that, and then all of a sudden you have Icon in contact with Rocket fighting Vandal Savage again. And that's something I forgot to bring up, because Hardware fought Vandal Savage all the way back in when he's going to stop the slave trade, he fights Vandal Savage, and then Vandal Savage shows back up and is fighting Rocket. Well, Icon comes and helps Rocket, and then he gets a call from Curtis Metcalf, and he's like, dude, I need your help because I broke it. And what you find out is that it does a Doctor Who. I called it that yesterday after I was done reading it. I'm like, this whole thing does a Doctor Who. If you are not familiar, Doctor Who, just Google it and get a synopsis of what exactly Doctor Who is. But there's an episode of Doctor Who that's called The Wedding of River Song. That's basically, there's a situation that exists because River changes a fixed point in time where all of history is happening at once. So, there are pterodactyls swooping in trying to steal kids' picnic lunches, okay? And so, there's dinosaurs running around. The Winston Churchill is referred to as the Holy Roman Emperor, okay? And that's what happens in Doctor Who, and they had to figure out how to fix time. And that's basically kind of what looks like is happening with Icon, with Hardware, that he calls up Icon and he's like, I broke it. And then you look at some of the art in there, and it's like all of time is happening at once, kind of like that episode, The Wedding of River Song, from Doctor Who. And so I had to ask the question. I'm wondering, can anyone tell me, if anyone out there maybe knows some of the creators personally, are they Doctor Who fans? Because I'm wondering if they, because that was such a, that's what it immediately made me think of. Not that I'm going to sit there and think that everyone that's writing time travel and time continuum stories immediately are thinking of Doctor Who, but it's the question I have to ask, okay? It just is. Anyways, that series started out confusing as heck to me, and I stuck with it. Now we're in issue 3, and now I finally got it. And that kind of like follows my whole idea of give something at least 3 issues. I'm not perfect with that, by the way. Give something at least 3 issues before you drop it, because that 3rd issue might make you really interested. Anyways, we're moving on to talk about Detective Comics number 1072. I have a complaint. I have one small little complaint. And I've had this complaint before, though it was not, I wasn't upset with it enough because the story rocks so much to knock it. I love me some Solomon Grundy. I love me some Leon Shoes action. They're on the cover, but they're not in the book. They're not in the book. My goodness. Evan Cagle, I love the covers. I honestly just adore the covers. I've always said all you need is cover A with this series because it fits the dynamic and the theme of the story so much that that's all you need. That's all you need. But I am disappointed in this cover. But anyways, only disappointed not because of Evan Cagle's abilities and the beauty. That is nothing to do with it. It has to do with the placement with this issue. Solomon Grundy and Shoes are not in this issue. They're just not. They're just not, guys. So shit is about to hit the fan. The fan is spewing the shit everywhere for this story. And I'm here for it. Okay, I gotta rattle off all the creators here. We have Rom V, Dan Waters, Reese, Mickey Raffaelli, Anderson, and Lawridge. I'm thinking that's Lawridge. Lowridge, maybe. Despite the fact that it has an oddly placed, erroneously placed cover, subject matter, this had it's hard to imagine how a book that has been this beautiful, slow, but welcome slow burn could all of a sudden just go kapowy in a matter of, this is like the first issue of Kapowy. I assume there'll be a few issues of the full Kapowy. And yes, Kapowy, I think, if it's not a technical term, it needs to be Kapowy. Kapowy is, well, okay, so I'll work on defining Kapowy. I think I've used the term Kapowy before on this channel. If I have not, I have been doing you all a disservice. Kapowy is exactly the beginning of the Kapowy for this issue, for this storyline that has been meticulously grown. And one of the things that I've talked about with some people privately is where Detective Comics, Rom V's run fits in with the continuity of Batman. And I said, who the fuck cares? You sit there, honestly, you sit there and you think about it and you're talking about it and you're trying to work through it. And you get to the point where you're just like, okay, here's the thing. What if it doesn't fit with the continuity of Batman? What if it's not supposed to fit with the continuity of Batman? But what if it was just a story that was inventive and interesting and compelling enough that it didn't matter? What if? And I think that's pretty much where we're at with Detective Ron V's Detective Comics run. It's inventive and compelling enough that it does not need to fit within continuity. So stop, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it, which is the position I am taking. It's really hard to come up with anything really easily to talk about spoiler-tastic wise, except for the fact that we now have a situation where the fit is hitting the Shan, and the shit had hitting the fan hitting the shit, spewing that shit all over the goddamn room. And I think it's safe to say, considering the structure of the book, structure, not necessarily the book, let's be more precise here. More precise. The reason why I think that the Kapowy is going to, let me write that down. Define Kapowy as, I'm going to tell you it's an adjective. Okay. So I'm going to define Kapowy as an adjective, and I'll get back to y'all. The reason why I think the Kapowy is going to be spread out at least 3 issues is because of the way that the structure of the storyline has been taking. It's that slow burn, and I hope we get a slow Kapowy, because this Kapowy, with the way that the main bad is like talking to Batman in the beginning and throughout the whole entire thing, is just, it's, ooh, I want the Kapowy to last a while on this one, guys. I want it. I don't want it to be quick and easy and clean. I want it to be dirty. I want that shit flying all over the room, staying in the walls, getting in cracks where you can't get it out, and there's a stink for months. You try to air out the room because the shit hit the fan in such a way that it just goes all over. You think you got it off the floor. You think you got it out of the walls, and there's stuff stuck in cracks that you can't even get to. You can't even see. You try to air out the room, you open the windows, you spray all the Febreze you want to, but the shit hitting the fan from the Kapowy just keeps on impacting how you feel when you sit in the goddamn room. That's what I want. That's art. Give it to me. Do not let the Febreze fix the shit hitting the fan and going Kapowy too quickly. I want the Kapowy. Let the shit hit the fan. Let it ruminate in the room to the point where you're thinking, I'm just gonna leave and I'm gonna take my losses on the goddamn house, maybe demolish the fucking room. Kapowy. Anyways, guys, okay, so real quick, we're gonna talk about one of my favorite books of the week, as if you didn't think that was. We got one left. We got one left to talk about, guys, and you know what it is. You know what I read. Barbaric number 4. Woo! Hello, Dead Heart. Welcome back. Do you smell what Dead Heart is cooking? Okay. first off, that cover, sir, madam, everyone, non-binary, do you smell what Deadheart is cooking? Okay, I've been falling in love with Deadheart as a character, especially during this whole run, Hell to Pay of Barbaric from Vault Comics, Morassi, Gooden, Duke, Campbell. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between. I don't know. Fuck it. I'm not going to assume anyone's pronouns. I am appreciative, and I love, and I want to make sure I get those right. So I'm just throwing all of them out there. I actually really do care about that, guys. If you follow my Instagram, you know I care about that. Anyways, let me make this really easy for y'all. Everything comes to a head. It gives us everything we need to have happen in this book. To end Hell to Pay and then some. Owen is back. The way it turns out is that both Owen and Soren have to share the curse of Axe. So they both get to share them. I'm sure Axe loves it. So much blood. If you are not reading Barbaric, you do not know the wonder and fun that is Axe. I gotta tell you, you gotta check it out. I love Axe. Axe is a sentient axe that is wisecracking and gets drunk off the taste of blood. Yeah. Why else with a barbaric? With a barbarian. God. Okay. So anyways, Owen is out, and one of the things that happens really, so you get Soren having to trust her frenemy, her firmer friend, that she's going to open this portal to hell and not screw everyone. Now, thankfully, she does not. And Owen gets thrust back, and he's like, no, I can't leave Deadheart, because they're in the middle of their fight, because they were trying to get Owen back, right? And he's like, I cannot leave Deadheart. She can't handle this. She won't, she'll be completely gone. So Steel sacrifices himself to go down to hell and pull Deadheart out. And there's this very lovely moment where he confesses that he loved her. And it got me, guys. And that's why I'm mentioning it to you last. If you are not reading Barbaric, if you did not read Barbaric Hell to Pay, you are missing out. It is a fun story. And I've been loving it ever since I found it. Ever since it got recommended to me, I have been completely into it, and it was beautiful. So this is going to be leading into another series, Barbaric spin-off, Queen of Swords, that is going to be following Deadheart and the two other ladies that were traveling with Soren and Steel, and Soren and Steel's vampire side. So that's a twist. The human side of Steel went to hell, but the vampire side gets to stay. So the vampire side of Steel is going to continue traveling with Soren and Owen and Axe, while Deadheart is going to find the stuff that she needs to find, the revenges that she needs to dole out. And she has Steel's sword. Now, the twist is that the guy in the flaming skeleton dude in hell, Gabar, that was trying to screw Owen and Deadheart over, has now somehow been imbued into the sword, this badass sword that Steel gave Deadheart as he was dying. Queen of Swords is supposed to be out soon. I forget exactly when, but guys, I love Barbaric. It's so much fun. And I think that you all, if I can definitely recommend something that is not big two, this. Lots of fun. Anyways, guys, that's it for me this week. We'll be doing, we should be doing a, What's Happening Wednesday. No problem. I think we have a topic that we're going to talk about, but I'm not sure. We will work that out and get one out to you hopefully this week. But also, I am going to be, those of you that are Instagram followers, I am going to be on Fable's Instagram show, Blame Fable, on Saturday. This Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Check it out. It's on Instagram. It's one collection down. He and Nick have a show. Nick's Comic Culture have a show on Instagram live on Saturday afternoons. I'm going to be on that show, and these two gentlemen are really awesome, great guys, and I'm just going to throw this up there for him. I'm going to throw this up there for Fable. Hopefully he's able to see it prior to the show, because Station Fable. There you go. You got it from me too. Somebody see that and tell him, okay, that I did that, just in case he can't see, he doesn't have time to see my video. He's a busy man. But Station, that's for you guys, okay? All right. But anyway, I got to get back to work. It's the end of my lunch period. So, let's see here. How do I do this? Okay. So, do it the usual way. Do it the usual way, Carrie. Here's the thing. Keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something, say something. And remember, the complacent never make a difference. Until next time, I'll be seeing ya. Bye.